Because the FDA, as I said in my release, is politicized and corrupt, and this cover-up shows that just how bad that is. You know, I love Judicial Watch, and I know I say that a lot because I'm the president of Judicial Watch, but I like the fact that Judicial Watch kind of does this basic work that no one else is willing to do. And I'm always outraged about it, kind of in a half-joking way, because no one else is doing it. And it seems to me kind of the basic things that ought to be done to monitor our government, and no one else does it. And that's especially true in COVID, where Judicial Watch has a number of lawsuits and investigations that try to get at the heart about how COVID emerged and the lies associated with the cover-up of our involvement with China and the labs that have been the controversial labs, and more than one, that have been linked potentially to the emergence of COVID, the government's response, the handling of the vaccines, the approvals of the vaccines, Fauci's conduct and, quote, misconduct, unquote. No one's doing more than Judicial Watch, including Congress, including the media. And to that end, we just filed another lawsuit on the boosters. I just read in the news today that the boosters evidently are not that good after 4 months, so you need to get a fourth booster. What a disaster. And the way this whole process has been, the FDA's approval of the vaccines have been very controversial. So controversial that those involved in the approval of the vaccines reportedly resigned because of the way things were being done by the FDA. So we sued HHS for records of communications from top FDA officials who, as I say, resigned reportedly over COVID booster shots and the controversial approval of those shots. We asked for records of communications from Dr. Marlon Gruber and Dr. Philip Krause, who is the former director and deputy director of the FDA's Office of Vaccine Research and Review. So these are not some muckety-mucks that no one who aren't making decisions or aren't key decision makers in the FDA. These are top officials in the FDA who evidently resigned because they didn't like the way the FDA was behaving. And again, we asked for the records back in September. It's now what, February? No records. All emails sent to and from the Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research Director Marlon Gruber regarding the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, the Advisory Committee on Immunization, and or booster vaccines for the prevention or treatment of SARS-CoV-2 and or COVID-19. And similarly, we asked for records about his deputy, Phil Krause. On September 22nd, the FDA approved use of a booster dose of the Pfizer drug. According to the organization's news release, the FDA, quote, amended the emergency use authorization, EUA, for the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine to allow for use of a single booster dose to be administered at least 6 months after completion of the primary series for people, quote, high risk of severe COVID-19. A week before that, Gruber and Krause were among a group of resigning doctors, so it was more than just them, who agreed that available evidence doesn't yet indicate a need for COVID-19 vaccine booster shots among the general population. Also on September 13th, The Lancet, which is a major scientific publication, published a paper to which Gruber and Krause contributed that said, careful and public scrutiny of the evolving data will be needed to assure that the decisions about boosting are informed by reliable science more than by politics. Widespread boosting should be undertaken only if there is clear evidence that it is appropriate. So we asked for these documents 5 months ago, and no documents. They don't have any emails? Of course they do. They're hiding them. Because the FDA, as I said in my release, is politicized and corrupt, and this cover-up shows just how bad that is. The American people have a fundamental right to know about the safety and efficacy of the COVID vaccines and, quote, boosters. especially given that officials in the FDA seem to have objected to the agency's recommendations about the vaccines. This was one of the most controversial public health decisions. The use of boosters, the vaccines generally, the mandates, the whole push in American history, and Judicial Watch is kind of the only one doing anything to figure out what went on. Isn't that incredible? I'm proud to do the work, and you can see how important your support for Judicial Watch is, because if we weren't doing it, you can bet no one else would be doing it. Not Congress, not the media. The executive branch is hiding the information. The public health establishment, which is both private and governmental, and there's a dotted line between the two because the private relies so much on government money. They don't want any of this to come out. But we're in federal court trying to get the truth for you. It's not only in the public interest, but it's in the interest of the public health that we get the full truth about this.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.